Hi, Joe Doyle here. As a former bricklayer turned property investor, I would not be where I am today if I didn't first learn the art of business. Nowadays, a big part of my life is helping other tradesmen succeed with their business by sharing my knowledge, insights and experience. Welcome to the Tradesman Support Group podcast. What an amazing time to be alive, people, and what an episode we have in store today. So recently I had a catch up with Harry Kelly of HK Joinery. But Harry's a good dude, and we've been working with him there for the last while, and he's got his business pretty much, running as a business now, and he's made a serious transformation in the business over the last number of months. So you'll hear now in the episode, I'm politely, gently nudging him in the direction of expecting more out of himself, because he's actually capable, in my opinion, of doing far more than what he's given himself credit to do. So hope you enjoyed today's episode, guys. It was definitely an enjoyable conversation with myself and Harry. So let us know what you think, and we'll chat soon. See you all at the top.
Hello.
Harry, what's the story, my man?
Well, how you getting on?
The going is good. What about yourself?
Going good, hey.
Will we hit our 500 today?
We actually made more there.
Good man.
So we have, hey, that you phoned there a couple of minutes ago there, hey, and it was the supplier that I was trusting up there on a price, and I told him I was going elsewhere, and he's knocked off a few more pound there. So no, it's there, over 500 today.
Okay, good stuff. I'm happy to hear that. Let's dive straight into this, Harry, right? Right, so Harry, let's just recap, right? We had a call there a couple of weeks ago, and we were chatting about the whole premise of what I always say to people: use your business as the vehicle for wealth creation, yeah?
Yeah.
Right. The summary of the call, I think we said that you were just gonna. Sorry, 1 second there now. I think we suggested that you were gonna go off and have a think about what we're going to do. What was the summary? Just remind me, because I don't have my notes to hand there.
No, it was what do you call it? We're just sort of talking about the houses not there, and we were. I stood out, go off and take a look around and see the market.
Yes.
Sort of only now, I'm only sort of starting to look at them. I'm sort of just looking to see what sort of houses was about, what was available around the sort of money that I wanted to spend. And
yes.
I was talking to a couple of fellas there that sort of the same crack, and one of them sort of has got his fingers burnt and a couple of bits and pieces, and sort of giving me wee tips, to watch out for, and don't do this and don't do that,
Brilliant.
Sort of thing, but it's sort of talking to people like yourself that has done it. I'm sort of listening to ways of trying to not get burnt. You know what I mean? So
trying to not get burnt.
Well, hey, it's sort of what we're all at. So at the minute, I'm just not jumping at the minute. I'm just sort of looking into it and dipping my toe in the water for the time being, just to see what's about and what's kicking about.
Yeah, brilliant. What have you come up with? Or what did you encounter?
Well, sort of looking there, rental prices around off there, the 350 to 500, around that sort of money there. 3-bed house, you're sort of pulling around that 100,000.
Okay.
You could get houses, less than 100,000, where you would get your 500. Something between say 70 and 100,000, you would get your £400 to £500 a month rental on. So you would less. Obviously, you get less rental on them.
Yeah.
There's some there. I was looking at a few there, sort of around there. We were working at there. They're around that 45, 50, something around that there. Maybe as far as 55, 60, that sort of thing. But again, they need a bit of work done to them. But it's sort of cosmetic stuff. Painting, bathroom, kitchen, that sort of stuff. But it's all sort of stuff we can do ourselves.
What was the areas like in the lower price properties?
Some would be good. Some, no, I wouldn't say good. It's just the average sort of place. There wouldn't be much vandalising or no wrecking, that sort of stuff about them. But there'd be no Range Rover sitting outside any of the houses, put it like that.
Right, yeah.
But it's it's all people. They're paying rent in houses, and I was talking to one of the fellas. He was actually a landlord was there, and he was fixing that fence in the front of his house. And just happened to get talking to him.
Brilliant, yeah.
And he was saying that he owns a house, owns it, he says 6 or 7 years, and he says he's got a couple in it, and he said he landed well. He says there was a couple, and there was a child there now. Because he has never no bother with rent, and he says that he never really gets no bother with them. And I was talking to our fella at the house, and he had nothing but hassle. And
now, were they different locations? Were they?
Same, different location, same town.
Right, gotcha, yeah.
You know, that sort of thing, you know, and it was, you know, you get talking to fellas around building yards and that there. You sort of get talking and what do you have today and all around fixing this house, them bad people has wrecked the house on me and, you know, such and such, and you sort of query him and it's frankly, you know, what do you do? You know, I think it's going to be the sort of thing, if you can get a good tenant, you'll be lucky enough. If you don't, your heart could be broke.
Will I tell you the ultimate test to find out if a tenant is good or not?
Yeah.
Go and visit them in the last house that they're living. So people don't do this, right? But if you're going to become a landlord, the number one thing you can do is when you whittle it down to your last 2 or 3 or 4 different potential tenants, right? Go and see them in the last house where they lived and find out how long they lived there. Now, the unfortunate thing is, in this case, the person who needs the house less will get more of a priority over you. So if the guy is back living on the couch in the mother's house, you can't see what his last house was like. But you see, do we take it? You know, as much as we're out to help ourselves and each other, we have to protect looking after ourselves first. So if you go into a house and there's a family there with a young kid or 2 young kids and they're there 2 years, 4 years, 5 years, whatever condition that house is in, that's the condition that your house is going to be given back to you at the end of their term.
Yeah.
You know, so that's the test there. Like if you can find a house for 70 grand and rent it for 500, why would you not prefer that type of house as opposed to one for 100k and rent it for 500?
Oh, definitely. No, that'd be the sort of thing, you know. But you know, at the 70, you know, the house is below 100,000. You may have to spend a few pounds on.
But that would suit you, wouldn't it?
At the minute, it would. It would.
Yeah, I would.
So it would, you know.
I wouldn't be too concerned about that, you know. Doing the bit of refurb. Like, could you rent that as is?
The two that looked at had a work needing done around them. You know, again, it's nothing major. You know, it's nothing major. So it is. It's nothing major. You know, I'm sort of hand in hand on that one there. You know, over a year. I don't know. Over a year there, stay at that house 500 a month, and you get back. You know, you get your back. You're say 6,000 a year. Like, you know, I know it's a silly old thing to say, but if I banged on another job, I could get 6,000 out of it. Yeah.
Now let's have a chat about that for a minute, if you don't mind. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of things that we need to look at here, right? The most important question is the why. Why are we doing this, right? So, you know, property investing and I'll just flick back very quickly on a summary of some of the last calls we had, right? Harry's running a decent business there and he's making some good money, right? And everybody, when they get their business to the point, I always recommend that you go off and you use your business as a vehicle for wealth creation. I'm sure you're sick of hearing me saying that now at this stage, Harry, yeah? Use your business as a vehicle for wealth creation, right? And that means then you go off and you make investments and you do different activities with the resources generated by the business, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you go off there and do some investments with the resources created by the business, you've got 2 types of investments that you can do. You can create a store of wealth investment, or you can create a cash producing investment. Now, a store of wealth is when you hear people buying gold and stuff like that, yeah? And buying land. It's a store of wealth. It's not going to produce any income, but the money ain't going anywhere. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
The next one is the cash producing, right? Now, to be honest, Harry, right? If you go and buy a house that's going to create 500 quid a month, it's 6 grand a year, less a little bit of maintenance, and less a bit of repairs, and less your tax, right? It's a very small amount of money that you're actually putting into your pocket on the back of that deal, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
It's an excellent store of wealth investment or asset, yeah?
Yeah.
But it's not world class in terms of the amount of cash that it's generating, yeah?
No. definitely. No, that's the sort of thing. You know what? That's sort of the thing is, sort of toiling was 60 about a wee bit of land there. Started the summertime there, you know, and I bought.
Yeah.
I sort of we do a bit of farming there, and I bought cows and sheep and that sort of stuff there, and I've turned the money back out of that again, and I've made, you know, out of what animals I bought, resold again, you know, out of the lambs and what they've produced out of it. Like,
Yeah.
I've already doubled my money. You know, I've already made more than 6,000 profit out of it.
Well, let's break this down. Let's break this down here, right? Because it's so important that you get your head around why you're doing this, right? Because if you don't have your why on point, you're going to give up without realising, because you're going to be saying things like, this is not worth the hassle, yeah?
Yeah.
Right? So, really what we need to get going here, and now the reason why I always tell people, take the money out of business, right, is because the bank account goes from 20 grand to 50 grand to 100 grand to 120 grand, 150 grand, whatever, right? And what happens is people then become lackadaisy in the business, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want you to have any vast sums of money lying around in the business. I don't want that to happen, right? The business is a trading entity. Money comes in, money goes out. Money goes up, money goes down. I want you to take the money off the table in your business as much as possible, yeah?
Yeah.
Right? Now, obviously, I'm down in Dublin. The rent returns are a lot better, right? So for 100 grand in Dublin, I can pretty much get £1,000 a month, yeah? So it's twice as good to do the deal in Dublin as it is up your neck of the woods, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, I don't have access to doing different types of deals like yourself, that you're involved in the farming or whatever else, right? But really what we need to do here, Harry, is we need to get your wealth creation strategy on point, right? And I say it's A, B, C, right? The A is the existing business that you've got, right? And you keep that going, right? The B is your cash producing asset, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Cash producing. I'm just writing this down here, right? Cash producing asset. Now, I know what I've learned about you country boys that us city boys don't know is that a lot of you guys have farming in your blood, and there's fuck all you can do about it. You want to get involved, you want to keep your fingers in the pie there to a certain degree, yeah?
Yeah.
Now, what I would say there, Harry, right? So we've got A, which is the main business. That's your first thing. You do that first and foremost. B is your cash producing asset, yeah? And then C can be your store of wealth, or even something a little bit more speculative, yeah?
Yeah.
So what would the story be of doing the job, making 20 grand or 50 grand or whatever the number happens to be, putting that into a cash producing asset, getting that asset to produce cash for you, and then taking that cash and putting that into a store of wealth? So, like, it's not really going to set your world alight getting a house at 500 quid a month, yeah?
No.
Unless you have a million quid. Yeah, exactly, right? So, rather than, and if you speak to somebody else, right, that's not as well versed in this as myself, right, and you say to them, sure, what's the point in doing the house when I can get 6 grand doing a job somewhere else, or when I got a few animals or trading in or whatever, yeah? Go off and take the money from, like, give me a number there. If you spend 10 grand on animals, how long will it take you to turn it into 20 grand?
On what now? On an animal?
If you spend 10 grand's worth of animals, cows or sheep or whatever the animals is that you know about, yeah?
I bought them, and when did I buy them? I bought them last September, and
Okay.
I sold their young, the lambs and the calves off the cows there again. Sold them there 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
You know, and I bought the sheep and the cows all on calves, so I didn't have to buy and lamb, you know, so I didn't have to buy anything after there. So they were coming ready to produce. They come to produce. Thankfully, everything went well, and I put it all out.
Brilliant.
Sold it, and I've got a good return. But don't get me wrong, that doesn't happen every year.
But can we look at the numbers? Like for 10 grand outlay, what would you get back after 12 months?
I got easily back £60 a head of the sheep, I would say easily doubled it. Easily doubled
Okay,
it, no bother.
right. So here's just a little concept here, right? Let's just say now we need to weigh up the fact that when you buy a house, it ain't fucking going anywhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. But let's just say Harry had the deposit for the house, right? The fact that Harry can double his money in 12 months, wouldn't he be best off using the knowledge and expertise he has in the farming, rather than putting the money into the house in which it's gone, do one twist with it into the farming, double his 20 grand into 40 grand, and then put the 20 grand back in as a deposit for the house? Do you follow the logic there?
Yeah, oh, definitely. I told them we think, the brothers and myself there, we sort of import cheap on from Scotland and that.
Brilliant.
And we have a load coming now tomorrow. And there's 260 in it, and they average there at £70 a head, and we'll put them out. We'll put them out next September, and they'll be averaging about 150, 160 a head. But it's just, it's a finger in another pie. If it's sort of another wee handful to try and get a few more pound in. But you get the money in, and you keep turning it with the sheep, or as you say, put it into a bigger investment, into a house or something, and you have it there.
Yeah.
It's not going to be good every year with farming. It's just
speculation.
It's just for tying money up to. That's all it is.
Yeah.
So it is.
Store of wealth.
The property would be definitely the way. Making more money. The better holding money. But
yeah,
there's a lot to. I would tell you, there's a lot more headache, or a lot less headaches with a house without a property.
Of course, but this is something that I've just came to realise over the last while, Harry. I know I'm joking saying you country boys, but I've just learned this dealing with literally dozens of country lads, that there's lads out there that's doing farming for no reason other than their old lad has done it. And there's no money in it for them at all whatsoever, but it's a hobby, and they say it's a distraction for them from work. Like it's their hobby,
Yeah.
So if you're into that, let me tell you what I do, right? I do my work here like what I'm doing with yourself there now. I'm pretty much on the tools here now. And I take that money, and it's a system. I take that money and I don't spend it. I put that straight into a cash producing asset, which is a house. Yeah. And then I live off the rent from the house. It pays pretty much everything. There's a few bills in the office that the rent currently doesn't pay, but it's going to be paying soon enough, And the reason why I do it that way is that we generate money in the trading business, which mine is pretty much the education business, and yours is the construction industry. We take that money and I put it into my cash producing asset. And then, sometimes I do a little bit of gold investing where I buy some gold and stuff like that. And that doesn't create any income, but it's a store of wealth. Do you understand? Yeah. And it's pretty much, you can access the cash. It ain't going anywhere. Because if the money's in your bank, you start spending money and you're looking at different things and all that, So really, we need to get some kind of system or strategy in place for yourself. Because what happens is, and it's happened many, many times, is that the good year you have this year, that puts 100 grand extra into your bank account. Well, you hit a dry patch next year and you just live off the fat that you created this year. Whereas if you get that money out of the account, out of the business, you won't lean on that money when times get tough in the business, because you'll just go out and produce more.
And you'll go harder to get more money in.
Yeah, exactly. So, without realising, people have a tendency to kind of sit on their laurels. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And they don't actually realise, So, whilst we're looking here, and I will always advocate for going towards property because that's what I know. But the exact investment vehicle that you want to go for, it doesn't have to be property. The cash, the store of wealth that you want to go for doesn't have to be property. It can be land if you want, which is different from a house. Or it can be, a flock of sheep or a herd of cattle or whatever the term is, right? That you use them. A gang of animals, right? It can be whatever you want. But the most important thing is you have a plan, yeah?
Yeah.
And if your plan is, I must pull X amount out of the company every month, every quarter, every 6 months, whatever, to put into something else and let it go from there, And the beauty about it if you want to reverse what you've done and you've done it right, you can take your money back. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So
when you said there a couple of months ago there about taking your profit out of the job at the start.
Yeah.
The funny thing, I've done that in the last 4 or 5 jobs there. And it's something. It was a thing I never ever done. Like, it was just money there, it's on the account, just leave it there. But I've just started taking it out now, and it's sitting there, and it's sort of just it's no fortune, like, but
it's growing.
It's something that I've never done. And it's there.
Right. So let's just flick back there. When you start a job, you take your profit at the start, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. And what do you do with that profit?
Now just sitting on another account. Like, I have a BAT account there, and then this is just another wee account that's just there, for whatever. And if need be, it's for the account. Like, I always would have left the money, and say if we were doing them extensions there, like, you usually try to get, sort of anything 3, 4, 5,000 profit out of it.
Yeah.
But I always left it. It was on the account. But that was, like, I'll tell you, with the crack last year with me and our fella setting up partnership, and then it was hell for there to try and get money in the bank to get up and going again there. And thank God this year it's went well.
Yeah, it's
sort of now. It's sort of now like it was like this. When was I? This time last year I was down 30 grand, and it's thankfully flying now. And it was just head down, ass up, and get on with it. Like, there was no other way around it.
Brilliant. Yeah, and it's been a good turnaround, and fair play to you for doing that,
Hey, it was either get at it or lie down. So when lying down was just wasn't an option. Like, I never ever wanted to go and work for somebody. It was stay your own boss and get at it, like, so. But no, thankfully everything went well. Up and going now, and the profit now is sitting. There's no fortune of it, like, but it's there, and it's sort of just what I do now to try and make it work.
Yeah, the challenge now is to try and get you to do at least the same again or more next year, because you had no choice but to do it this year. You had to do it, like. Yeah, no, definitely. So definitely had to. And it's the same at the minute there. Like, we have a job there now to start straight after Christmas, and I'm pricing at 2 more here to follow on through. There's one of them I have. It's just a matter of getting the numbers right on it. Okay, so there's them 2 jobs there. At the minute they're complete refurbs, and there's another client that's come at me there about doing another block of apartments on the back of one we're just finished. Nice, yeah. So like we're well into next year with stuff, So, but it's just keeping that all coming now. The grid's still there now to keep pushing. So it'll just be kept going. Well, let's just flick back just to recap on a couple of things here, Harry. Right? Like, the business is going well for you now, right? You've put in all the effort. The business is going well, right? It's so important that we move on from this, yeah? Like, that has to, like, you're not out of the woods yet. You don't have the mansion on the hill just yet, right? However, you're on the right track. So it's important that you open your mind to the next stage at least, even if you're not ready to fully let that in, right? So, I know we talked to you, and the few things you said that you're just implementing certain things and it's working for you, and we know that you're a no bullshit man, we know when you have the shoes on, you mean business, yeah?
And this week now, it's been shoes on all week.
Right, come on, right? So we know you have that, right? And with the greatest respect to yourself there, you've managed to grasp it a little bit quicker than a lot of the other people that we will be dealing with here. And I don't mean that in any way negative towards the other guys, but you just you didn't really cloud it with any emotion or bullshit. It's like, yeah, that's what I need to do, bum, right? So now we're going back to low babies here again. Very first day in school, right? We need to come up with the plan. What is the plan? What is the next stage for Harry, What are we going to do? It will be very difficult. Go on, yeah.
No, my plan was, and still is, if I have till the end of next year, I think it is, I'm hoping to have the mortgage on my own house that I built paid off. That'll be it. That'll be it done. So, and that's what I'm pushing to do, is get it cleared, and then I'm doing whatever I can do then. At least I know that's paid, gone.
Can I ask you how much the numbers are on that?
Let's see.
What's the balance?
There is, left on that there? There's 36,000 I think left on it.
Right.
So that, but I would put on a lump, so it'll then pay off the rest then. I'd have got out over a 10-year mortgage. So that whenever I built the house 8 years ago.
Yes.
And I took it out over a 10-year mortgage.
Gotcha.
And then I paid on them. Sort of just doing that there, and then, you know.
Can I tell you my concern about what you've just said there?
Yeah.
It's 36 grand over 14 months, yeah?
Uh-huh.
It's not enough, man. I'm telling you now, man, that target is way too low for you. And if you're kind of on the fence at the minute about whether to buy a house or not, or whether to do a bit more of the farming or whatever else, right? Let's just park that, because either way we all want the family home cleared, yeah?
Yeah.
Right. So, here's the question, right? How could we possibly clear that mortgage in 6 months?
As a city, I still have a few bills to pay from before. A VAT bill that they're letting me pay off. I'll have it paid off now in February, and that's nearly £1,000 a month.
Okay.
So I mean, you know, it'll be whenever I get to February time, you know, that'll take a wee bit more pressure off here. You know, there's four months there that no, you're down there to 2 months, if you know what I mean. So as soon as I can get that there away, you know, that's another £1,000 a month freed up, which would definitely help towards getting this house sorted. Like.
No, honestly, Harry, I promise you, man, you're not acting at your fullest potential if you go down that road, yeah? Like, look what you've done in 10, 12 months with the business as is. You had all this hassle going on. You got it all turned around. You know, you don't need to tell me how much profit you're up to right now, but I know you were in the red this time last year, and now you're comfortably in the black, yeah?
Yeah.
Right. We need to go and take the same approach to clearing that mortgage that you took on turning the company around.
Yeah.
That's what we need to do. If you're unsure of whether to go for the house or not, okay, that's fine. Just get yourself educated in the way of, you know, looking at, you know, opening your eyes to different investments and different things. And you're probably doing that as well now. Now, the most important thing I can say to you here is that you should not allow yourself to get distracted from the business while you're doing this, right?
Yeah, oh, definitely. No, that's the main bread and butter.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, you've got £1,000 residual debt hanging over in VAT. What else do you have that you have to service in terms of debts?
Not there, and the only HP I have is one of the diggers paid. I have one digger now left, HP and the van. That's it.
And how much is that per month?
Everything else is the digger is $280 and the van is $200.
So call it $500 a month, yeah?
Yeah.
Right. This is what I think you should do straight away, right? You've got 4 months left on the VAT, yeah?
Yeah.
Maybe 5 months, whatever, right? This is my advice to yourself. That bill is creating a mental block for you, yeah?
Uh-huh.
Go and clear that bill tomorrow, if you can.
It was set up as a direct debit, and the accountant just told me not to pay it off.
Right. Can I talk to you about your accountant for a minute?
Go ahead.
Right. Look, I'm sure he's a nice guy. I'm sure he has your best interests at heart, right? The reality of the situation, and I don't know who your accountant is, the reality of the situation is your accountant is highly unlikely that he's ever created any massive amount of wealth for himself. Okay. Right? He's looking at this from a perspective or whatever of cash flow in the business or whatever else, right? I know the type of guy you are, Harry. I know that if you push yourself, you can do more than what you're doing right now. Right? I know you can, right? And I know that that's a mental block right now because you're not planning to clear the mortgage on your house until you have that money paid off, right? Which means you're not.
Well, I'm making my mortgage abater now again now at the end of November, and I'll be paying another lump off.
So what will that bring that down to?
I'll know now. I'll know now at the end of November.
Okay, so what are you going to throw? 4 or 5 grand off it?
$5 grand on it.
5 grand. So we've got a 30k bill, right? So
yeah,
on the
and
end
then
of
I'll be up on the mortgage repayments and all the wee bit, and then that'll hopefully knock off another bit as well.
Yeah, but it's about, the whole premise of what we do as entrepreneurs and business owners, right? It's not about managing the little bit you have. It's about going after and hunting down the hundreds of millions and your share of the hundreds of millions that exist out there in the big bad world, yeah?
Yeah.
So right now you're fairly forensically analysing what you're doing with the bit of money you have, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine, right? Because you've got that money because of the good work you're doing in the building company, yeah? Whereas I'm like, Harry, fuck that, man. Let's go out and produce more. Right? Let's go out and set a fucking ridiculously unreasonable target. And let's go after it. Like, I would be full sure that if we had a kind of a frank conversation, an honest conversation, I think you could clear that family home mortgage this year. And I'll tell you where I'm going with that, right? Now, it's 30 grand, so I'm sure we need to, call it 50 grand before tax, yeah?
Yeah.
Right? I'm making assumptions here, right? But you've got 50 grand that you need to come up with. I'm sure there's 25k that you could salvage from the company there somewhere, right? And I'm sure that we could come up with a plan to get another 25k somewhere before Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
So all we need to do is take a booking in for a job, like what you told me you done the other day, and get a deposit paid in advance.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I do.
And that's your
yeah.
profit. And really, what I'm asking or suggesting for you to do here is nothing more than what you've already been doing yourself over the last few months. So, like,
well, how do I get that money? How do I get that money then out of the company? Yeah, what way do I go with that then?
You have to pay the tax. You have to pay the tax. Mm-hmm. Like, listen, I've got a mortgage on my own home. I'm looking at my board right now as we speak, right? And there's 135 grand or a little bit less than 140 grand owed on it, right? And I've got the mortgage on my board. I'm looking at it right now as we speak. I've got the mortgage on my board as 280k, yeah? Because I have to earn 280k to pay half that on tax and just pay the rest on the property, to pay the rest off the mortgage. Do you follow my thinking? And I've got a couple of different arrows. If you've seen the board, actually I showed you the board the last day, didn't I, on the video?
Yeah, surely, yeah.
So there's two arrows coming into that box now where two different deals are going to knock a lump off that,
Mm-hmm.
And it's just disgusting that you have to pay all the money in tax. But look, this is the rules,
That's what it is.
Yeah, like there's nothing, absolutely nothing at all whatsoever that we can do about it, right? But like, what I want you to do, and I haven't steered you wrong so far, have I?
No,
right?
So far so good.
So far so good, right? But I want to try and push you towards doing more, doing something that you believe is completely unreasonable.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go after it. Let's see what that can be, You don't need to worry about how you're going to do it right now. You only need to be concerned about, are you willing to commit to doing it?
Yeah.
That's what you need to do. And if you can make that commitment, I promise you, I can't see you failing at it if you commit to it.
Yeah.
And we'll come up with the we'll come up with the how we're going to do it later on. But right now that's not important,
No, that's definitely going to go and put this bat ball here now. Anyway, that's the first thing that I did.
Do it. Throw it around your head for 24 hours. Today is Wednesday, and we'll get a little chat on the email reply session tomorrow evening. Is that fair enough?
Yeah,
I think that's what we do. And listen, just stay focused and stay in touch with me on this, yeah?
Well, no problem.
Right. Is there anything else you want to ask me before we let you go?
No, that's your bad, hey. That's your bad.
I think that would be nice, And if we clear that up, we clear that mortgage in February, that'll be a nice little project. The box ticked,
That'll be that way. What way are you for a loan? You can invest in paying off my house, though.
No, you have to produce. This is the rule. You have to produce more, And here's the other thing, Harry, right? What I'm going to say to you, right? I'll give you the preview, right? When you come back to me and say, right, fuck it, Joe, I'm going to do it, yeah? I'm going to give you another condition, yeah? Okay, Harry, here's the rules. You must do it from something. You must use it from. You must clear the mortgage from some other source. So I don't want you spending your nest egg on this. I want you going out producing money elsewhere, yeah?
Yeah.
That's what I want you doing. But that's not for to be discussed or even thought about now. Go off, make the commitment in your head, then tell the world, tell the universe, and then give me a shout, and we'll make a plan after that, yeah?
That'll be grand.
Right.
No problem.
Let's go, my man. I'm looking forward to it.
No worries.
Right,
Good man.
take it easy. Stay cool. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So guys, we have now reached the end of our 30-minute episode. Thank you very much for listening in today. If you're struggling with any aspect of your business, do not suffer in silence. All good business owners learn from the mistakes of others, and trust me, I've made a lot of mistakes before getting to where I am today. You can ask me any questions you have by reaching out to me and messaging me on Facebook by searching for the Tradesman Support Group by Joe Doyle. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.